This is going to be an unusual video. I had no intention of making a video today, certainly not today, but unusual and maybe even boring. But I want to talk to employees about employees, to HR about HR, to leaders about leaders, organization, because the disconnect between these three parties and the nonsense of human resource practices is just like, I don't know how to shake the world of human resources to wake up and do the basics. Because the basics are not in, and they are trying to, there is no foundation to the house, and they are trying to fix the roof. And I'm going to give you the whole spiel. I want to keep this video short, maybe 10 minutes. But I want to get everybody to think, what the hell are we doing? Because whatever we are doing not only has no result, it doesn't make any sense. Hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I talk about anything and everything related to human resources and people. I'm more interested in people than the actual organizations and processes and policies. I always look at people's experiences, and I truly believe when you do that, this is how you show that you understand them, this is how you show that you listen to them, and only then you can actually create change at the workplace and design workplace practices, HR strategies, business strategies that will actually have some sort of impact. So let me give you an example. 2 days ago, I was listening to this HR professional talking about predictive AI. I still can't actually digest his logic. So he's talking about predictive AI predicting employees' resignation. And I'm listening. I'm like, you are really like, you don't have the basics in place, okay? Candidates are still being ghosted. Your Glassdoor website or review, they look like they were written about a factory back in the Victorian era. Your onboarding doesn't exist. Your performance management system doesn't manage performance. Your talent development system doesn't develop the skills, the competencies the business need. Your talent management system is non-existent because you don't have talent database, so you don't know who is in your organization, and when you don't have an inventory of the resources that you are having, you can't manage it. So that's a common sense, right? Your exit processes are just alienating employees, even those ones who are, who actually liked working with you, but now you are ruining it. And this is last week's story that the person is trying to, resign, but her resignation is being rejected because the team is short of staff. Well, that's not the employee's problem. So now, here in the Middle East, we have companies where staff accommodation, they host 12 people in one room. Then the bus doesn't have air conditioning. Living conditions are absolutely terrible. And you are talking about predictive AI? Like, you are really building the roof without the house and the walls. What do you expect? So HR and I was thinking, I'm like, look, just do the basics, because I guarantee you, if you do the basics, and this is what, if you pay attention to your staff, your employees will tell you, or whatever they tell you is all about the basics. They don't want a lot. Yes, they're gonna start nagging the moment they get bored, because, but that's another conversation. And I actually understand why they get bored, because we have stupid jobs. How long do you want to keep people in stupid jobs? Like, maximum 1 year. It's enough. Like, they learned it, they are bored, they want to move on. And that's actually a good sign. They want more, they want to learn more. No, employee turnover is high. First of all, where the hell did you get your KPI from for this ideal turnover rate? Because I still yet to find out the source that said this is how we calculate it and why. Now that doesn't exist. So now HR professionals are clinging on to KPIs that are made up. And you are holding hostage your entire workforce. You are creating strategies to please or to meet a made-up KPI. You know, HR processes make so much sense. I said that the other day. It's not very appropriate to say it, but I'm going to say it. They make so much sense when the gynecologist after a pap smears test tells us, ladies, that I'm going to give you some privacy, you can get dressed. Dude, there is no privacy, okay? So that doesn't make any sense. Same as HR processes. And so doing the basics is what's missing. And we want AI. We want the next shiny tool. We want the latest employee experience measurement surveys. We want the latest trend. Instead of listening to what our employees are saying and doing that. And that would be much easier because they are asking the basics. Somebody just wrote something really interesting on LinkedIn. He said that management is logical and employees' reaction to change is emotional. And he explains it why. Now you don't need to agree or disagree. That's not what he was saying. What he was saying that sometimes there is a time lapse between and all that. Even when I was reading, I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. And then I went to the comment field and the lady replied, which I always say, that it's not that employees are against change and because it's logical and they are emotional and the time difference and all that, but because there's a disconnect. Because managers, business leaders, they always come up with ideas without asking or listening to the employees. Now, if you are especially in HR, you cannot create your strategies without knowing what the problems of your workforce are. Business leaders, exactly the same, right? So when you have some business issues, the most logical thing is actually going to your employees because they are the ones who are running the business. They know that inside out. So the disconnect and this HR of, you know, this mindset that I need something new because it's not working. Well, it's not working no matter what you hoard together because the basics are not there. You are missing the basics. No matter what latest trend, latest measurement tool, latest psychometric test, latest whatever, you can bring in anything. If you don't have the foundation, if you don't get the basics right, the small stuff right, you're never going to win the game. And it's the same for employees, you know, sometimes. And I was thinking about in the past couple of days that they always say get the small stuff right. And it's so correct because even HR is missing the small stuff. So everybody is like, we don't want to be here. Employees, we always make the mistake. I did that the same. You know, you're working really, really hard and you really give your best. You create something fantastic, but then you are late, 10 minutes late. You can't get the small things right. This is going to jeopardize your performance, your reputation, etc. And it's the same with HR. They do, and when employees complain, yeah, but I do so much and you only pick up the wrong one. Let me bring it back because you are exactly doing the same to human resources, right? HR is doing these big things, whatever, big processes, regardless of they work or not, but that's another conversation. But they're doing a lot of things. But they don't get the small stuff right. And you are complaining about it. Because those are the ones matter. Success, future, long-term prospect, performance is always built by doing the boring stuff. Coming on time, finishing your projects on time, delivering, adhering to your words. When you promise something, you deliver, etc. At the basics. Imagine if we don't have the basics, we don't eat, we don't sleep. That's it, you're done. That's how important it is. So I wanted to really speak to HR professionals. Don't go crazy, search on a quest for the next latest shiny tool, your predictive AI. Predictive AI, who is going to leave? Okay, what are you going to do with this information? Are you going to tell people, try to convince them to stay? We have data. When we do this, People leave within the next 6 to 8 months anyway. So why would you waste on your time? If you are trying to do this so you can get information to fix the environment so people don't leave, you already have processes for that. You don't need predictive AI. Please do not get caught up in the bullshit, because companies, software companies, coaches, gurus, all that are cashing in because you don't think, and your employees are paying the price, plus the business, because you wasted so much money on bullshit. Instead of doing the right thing, instead of not delaying salaries, instead of providing great working conditions for your employees. When I went to this office a month ago, just right next to my house, how we are a great company, well-being, bullshit, all that. I entered the office. It's an open plan office, a massive place. 150 employees, I don't know, sitting in one airspace, one space. I'm like, there is no way anybody can work there, hear their own thoughts, or even thinking out of the question. Small things. You can't herd 150 people into one room and ask them to work next to each other, breathing each other's breath. And then you want well-being. Like, can you make it make sense? Because back to the basics. And how much, and I'm going to close this video, how much HR professionals don't even understand the basics. So I'm doing employee experience standards, and I was having a meeting with the CHRO last week. And I'm talking about the standards, so you implement, this is really gives you the foundation, because HR cannot run, nothing runs without standards, but HR. So we see the result. So I'm explaining to him, I show him an example of a standard that I audit companies. Then they can see what they are doing within the employee life cycle, where the system is broken, where they are losing maybe employees, what they are doing really well, what are the opportunities to improve, all that kind of things. I show him the example of a standard. I'm like, you can buy these standards and run your HR function based on that. So you have a structure, everybody is clear on what they need to do, because at the moment, everybody's running around like crazy people. His mind couldn't even comprehend. He goes like, so are you surveying the candidates and the employees? I'm like, nobody is being surveyed apart from you HR people. The survey mindset, like, what is wrong with you people? Like, how many more survey tools do we need to give you? And even the ones that you have is not great. Some of them are fantastic, but you don't use them anyway. So it doesn't really matter the quality of the survey tool, because you don't know what to do with your data. Okay? So the guy didn't understand that the standards is for HR. Do this so your employees will be fine. The business will be fine. He didn't understand. No, survey the employees. I'm like, okay, this guy is like, which planet are you coming from? So the mindset is not there. They can't even understand that. And it's time that we change that and we go back to basics, because we are missing the basics. We want this big thing because we think that this is what's going to make a change. The basics that I'm going to do to make the change. So HR professionals, get it together, because it's not that difficult. I swear to God, it's not that difficult. All you need is a structure and clear, standards, if you will. But everybody to know what needs to be done within HR, because at the moment we don't have. And the one last thing, everybody is blaming HR, and I'm also very quick to jump on them. But let me tell you, because you guys always jump on my videos, blaming HR. I understand you're not happy with them. I'm not happy with them either. I'm part of them, but I'm not happy with them. I would never be like, I always said, everybody hates us. Fantastic. We can only go up from here. Great. For me, it doesn't really affect me. But there are different type of HR. There are really good HR professionals who are doing fantastic job because their leadership teams allows them to do the job. So they are really good, and the environment is conducive for their competence to come out and do change and do the right thing. Then there are really good HR people, highly competent, who are in an environment that they are not allowed to make any decision. Every decision they make, senior people I'm talking about, overrode by the senior leadership team. So their talent, their ideas, the competence is completely wasted. And then that you have the vast majority completely incompetent, should never be near HR, humans, or people. We just drag them off the street, come, and now you are human resources. So these are the three. So look at your HR, because most of the time, or in many cases, they are not to be blamed. Sometimes they are not allowed to do the right thing. And I could make a video out of these examples, that how many times they want to do the right thing, they're just not allowed to do, not even the basics, not even the AI, nothing. Just organize some pizza party, run engagement survey once a year, put it in the drawer, finish the story. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So get the small things right. Businesses, business leaders, get the small things right. Employees, get the small things right. Otherwise, it's going to impact your performance, your growth, career growth. And HR, get the bloody basics right. Because if I hear one more time about employee experience tool and your salaries are still delayed, or you have these basic problems, I will come over.